screaming from your soul. We'll watch it fall. Now you come to walk on. Come on, set your light through. Just set your light through before we're only whispers in the wind. You can turn my world upside down, a rush like I've not felt before. I can't trust myself. I need you to make it turn. I know. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me? We won't leave it to chance. We can't write our romance. We'll never be the same again. I could keep the light from turning into darkness. You'd be my escape. What have we been told? Easy to unfold. Future might seem average, but we're getting close. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me? We won't leave it to chance. We can't write our romance. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again. Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid.
with anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling events of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. So grab your steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through an experience unlike any other. Brought to you, of course, by Animal We Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Happy Friday to everybody. We had another dose of the blue brand smack diggity down happened tonight. And yeah, overall good show and everything. We'll get into some of the nitty gritty here and everything as we go into our discussion for tonight. But of course, welcome everybody to the podcast. I, of course, am one of your co-hosts here, your reigning, defending, undisputed, universal heavyweight champion of the world. That's right, it's Watkins here. I'm going to be your guide through the events of SmackDown this week. But of course, I am joined by some lovely gentlemen here. And one of them, unfortunately, has been called by The Rock yet again. I don't know what The Rock is doing, trying to take one of our co-hosts every single week or every single time we have a good show and all that. Like, I don't know what Dwayne's deal is with taking away our visionary and all that, but Vash is not here. But of course, as always, we do have the man who's known as the genius of the mat around here. He's going to help us process some of these stories going on. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Drop This Box. Drop, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. It's good to be back. I started a new job, so I really wasn't here for Monday's show, but I am here today for Friday to give my thoughts on SmackDown when it comes to what took place in today's episode. So I am excited to get into it. There is a few things I do want to talk about, mainly the things that really stood out to me the most. And of course, there's a couple things here and there that, tends to happen when it comes to a few things on SmackDown, which is the norm when we typically, talk about SmackDown on the show itself. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm glad that things are heading down a proper direction with it.
Yeah, me too, and all that. So yeah, we'll get into the show here in just a second. But of course, if you're feeling good out there, let us know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching the VOD and all that. So lovely to see all of you people out there, whether you're a returning viewer or listener or a new viewer and listener. You now know who we are. You know what we're here to do and all that. Go ahead and check out the description to find all of our social medias. You can follow us there, talk to us, interact with us and all that beyond the show and everything. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss all the discussions we have. Because hey, next week's going to be a busy week with Raw, SmackDown. We'll be back with Grappling with the Week next week. So we'll be giving our predictions for Saturday night's main event, which is looking to be a pretty good card. Just kind of depending on how many ads we get in the middle of it. But, that's going to be a discussion maybe for next week when we watch Saturday night's main event. But here we are with SmackDown. We're going to talk about everything going on tonight. A couple matches that got set up, some more storyline progression with whether who attacked Jacob Fatu. Was it actually Drew McIntyre? Was it somebody else? Could it have been like maybe somebody that we're not even thinking of yet? I don't know. We'll get into all that discussion here in just a moment as we talk about what is basically our headline story, officially taking on Drew McIntyre next week at Saturday night's main event. Kind of surprised we're not getting a stipulation with it, but maybe something will get added next week, the night before and all that. So we'll have to see when we get to SmackDown next week. But of course, the build this week had Jimmy Uso here on SmackDown. Why is he here? Well, technically he was a SmackDown star. It's just he started showing up to Raw to kind of do this program with Jay and the rest of the Vision and all that. So he had to be there to build everything there. But he's coming back to SmackDown. He's trying to figure out who attacked Jacob Fatu, who took him out of commission. Was it actually Drew McIntyre? Or was it another party? I don't know. Who knows? But hey, he gets into a fight with Drew McIntyre after being called out by Cody a little bit during this opening promo segment. And we basically get a no DQ match set for later tonight. So I'm just going to start with you, Drop. Just talk to me. How did you feel about like this opening segment? So mainly with like Cody just like saying he should apologize to Drew, but of course Drew rationalizing everything and trying to put himself in the right here. So what do you think of this opening segment here?
So when it comes to this itself, I was very curious to see what was going to be going on here. One thing I will say about this that I did want a little bit more of was I did want there to be a stipulation between both of these guys, because I feel like the way that the feud is currently being built up right now, just because both of these guys want to rip each other apart. And Cody, pretty much laid it out where he's like, yeah, I know you're looking for a fight and everything, come to the ring, let's settle this and all that. So it's like, to me, that just tells me, like, okay, maybe we should do something with this where they have a little stipulation. Doesn't need to be crazy, but at least give these guys, something more to work with, because sometimes, you could do things with regular singles matches, but then there's times where it's like maybe you need like an extra meat in there in order for it to be like a little bit more satisfying, like get a little bit more on that plate. So I did want that. I don't think we're getting that anymore. I highly doubt they're gonna wait until like next Friday and be like, okay, we're gonna do a stipulation now, because they would have done that when they announced the match, which is what I was waiting for when I saw that thing from Nick Aldis online where he announced the match. I'm like, okay, is he going to say anything towards the end? There's like 5 or so seconds left on that clip on Twitter, and I'm like, okay, I guess not. But basically, like, the opening segment itself, pretty much just selling us on the match a little bit more. Obviously, we get more of that a little bit later, and I'm just hoping we get a little bit more like out of the build itself, because the match itself, I know it's going to be great. I'm hoping it's a little bit better than the first time we saw these two guys go against one another, because when we watched WrestlePalooza together, that match did feel off. I will say that, because it didn't really feel like what I expected to get out of those guys. Because I look at both of them, I know they could bring a great match out of each other. So that did
Yeah.
throw me off a little bit. I do expect the match to be good. I'm just hoping there's more on the table here, though. I don't want to hear like, oh, I need to finish my story, win the title, and this and that. Like, I don't want to always get things like that every single time. Like, there's some history with these guys. Like, why are we not diving into it? Like,
Mhm.
if I had to pick out one thing tonight that I did want to get a little bit more of, is like actually, getting like a little bit, like, maybe dive in the past a little bit, talking about these guys' backgrounds and where they came from and everything like that, and talking about their partnership together as tag champions, or just everything in general. I just feel like there's just more on the table that they could work with this, but they're not really doing it outside of, I want to fight you. Like, I need a little bit more than that.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, because like when you look at the story going into this, it's like there's Drew does have some arguments here where it's just like, okay, the ref did kind of stop him from hitting that Claymore onto Cody through that table at WrestlePalooza. So it's just like, okay, you have something to argue there. And even on top of like last week too, where Cody got DQ'd and all that, like there's at least that part of Drew's story. And commentary even tried to spin it too in a way where it's just like, okay, well, maybe is Cody kind of doing this on purpose? Is there actually some truth to what Drew McIntyre's saying? Like, did Cody maybe pay off the ref to stop Drew McIntyre? Did Cody willingly disqualify himself last week? But I mean, we kind of know Cody as well, where it's just like, okay, he's not one to really do something like that towards somebody. I mean, it's probably somebody else as well, but hopefully we get that reveal later when Jacob Fatu's ready to come back. But yeah, like as well as they're performing like their lines and making us kind of care about the match. Yeah, I kind of wish we would dive a little bit more into just like their parallel paths back to WWE, because yeah, they both went. I mean, to kind of take Cody's words, they both went from undesirable to undeniable by leaving the company, doing the indie circuit, like building up their experience points and gaining levels and all that, to come back and being like top of the card while they were in WWE. So it's just like, yeah, why aren't we diving into some of that a little bit more? Instead, like now we're mixing in oddly enough, we're mixing the bloodlines everything again into the main event picture here, where it's like, okay, well, we're mixing in who attacked Jacob Fatu, because Cody seemed like he was ready for the challenge of Jacob Fatu, but somebody took him out. He couldn't face Drew and all that. So it's like, okay, well, let's just insert more bloodline shenanigans into all this. Like, how are we leading into all of this? Where is this leading into? And I mean, I don't know if it's just like a bigger push for Jacob Fatu, but it's just like, if that's the case, I don't see him with the WWE title right now. Like, as much as I love the guy, like, it's not time for him to be at the main event, like at that pinnacle of the company and all that. So, I really don't know why they're choosing not to, like, maybe they're scared of them actually shooting from the hip. Maybe that's the case.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes they need to start taking a risk though, because you never know if
Hmm.
something works unless you take that risk. And they've shown to take risks before in the past when it comes to how they're handling promos and stuff like that. And if me and you want to truly believe that things are going to be heading down the right direction when it comes to that report talking about how they've been listening to the discourse and they really want to change things heading into 2026, then prove to us that you're actually listening to the fans and try to make things a little bit more engaging. Because I'm not against a Drew McIntyre
Hmm.
and Cody Rhodes feud. I don't think anybody would. You would be silly to be,
No.
against a feud like that. But you just know that both of those guys are good mic workers. They're great wrestlers in the ring when they want to put on a great match. And I know both of them can carry a good story as long as creative allows them to. I just really hope there's like more on the table with that. Like
Yeah.
that's my thing here. And also, I guess like
Yeah.
the other question to really ask like next is something that Drew brought up, and it was also a common thing that was being talked about within the show itself that also deals with Jimmy Uso, was the whole culprit behind the attack. I'm
Hmm.
starting to think it might be Randy.
Yep. Yeah, and I think we had touched on that last week a
Yeah,
little bit, and I'm kind of starting to think that more now. Like, and I'm trying to, like, rationalize, what the reasoning behind it was. I know last week we had talked about, okay, well, maybe it's a thing where it's just like, okay, he wants to be the one to take the title off
yeah,
Cody next. Like, he
yeah,
wants someone be the one to defeat him and all that stuff. But, like, it could be. I mean, there could be a spin where it's just like he's trying to protect Cody in a way,
yeah,
like, especially from somebody like Jacob Fatu. Like, Jacob Fatu, like, I mean, in kayfabe at least, he's kind of an unpredictable wild card.
mhm,
And it's like, okay, Randy being more of a veteran than Cody. I mean, again, that's only between a few years, but still, he knows the business, and they bill him as the mentor to Cody. It's like, okay, his rationale is, I need to get rid of this threat to Cody, which is also kind of a threat to me because I want the title. Like, there's a good spin to this where I am at least invested to find out who actually took out Jacob Fatu, because I doubt it was Drew. He's just acting as a scapegoat
yeah.
right now.
He would normally brag about it.
Exactly, and I kind of had this passing thought of, like, oh, what if it was actually Cody and all that? But then I I backtracked on that thought. I'm just like, nah, that's not really Cody's MO. That's not really his kind of thing right now to, like, take out a threat like that, especially backstage. He would face it head on and all that. So yeah, that's really the thing that's keeping me in this story, which, again, we're inserting the bloodline into the main event picture. Granted, it's through, like, two different people other than, Solo and Jay and Roman, but yeah, it's still some sort of bloodline involvement here, which, I mean, say what you want about that, it's just, it's there.
Yeah, it is. Like, and also like the other
Yeah.
thing of like Jimmy potentially being a culprit. As soon as I saw that pointed out on the show, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense in the slightest. That completely
Mm-mm.
goes against the whole partnership that him and Jacob Fatu um started to create ever since both of those guys were looking after each
Yeah.
other when Jacob Fatu was dealing with the aftermath after he broke away from Solo and all that. So I'm like, the fact that they actually brought that up, it kind of makes you think. It's like, do you think we're stupid and we don't pay attention to the
Hmm.
characterization, the relationships between all these different characters on the television show? Like, you're not gonna fool me for a bit having Nick Aldis look at Jimmy be like,
No.
"Oh, did you do this?" I'm like, Nick Aldis, have you been watching SmackDown for the past couple months? Like, there's
Have you
nothing
been
in
watching your
there.
own show?
Yeah, it's like there's
Like,
nothing in there that would make any sense
no.
that would convince us. Like, if there was like a little foreshadowing, in like, a couple
Mm,
months ago, sure, but there wasn't. Like, well, like there's no
no.
motive behind it. Like, what is Jimmy like gaining from that by like taking out Solo Sikoa? He did nothing to him. So Jacob Fatu did nothing to him at all. Like they both didn't do anything to affect each other at all whatsoever. They just looked after one another. So I was already like not buying that stuff at all. Like that the fact that
Mm.
that got brought up was hilarious.
Yeah. Come on, Aldous. You're smarter than that, buddy. Come on. Don't be blaming Jimmy and all that. Which again, this oh man. Oh shoot, what was I going with that Jacob Fatu thing? Oh yeah. So like the only other party I can think of that attacked Jacob would have been like Solo and the MFT,
Yeah.
and that would only kind of be only to set up the War Games match with them against the Wyatts, with Jacob Fatu joining with the Wyatts, which I mean, if that's the route you're going down, fine, but you might want to kind of start making us care a little bit more about that, if to kind of justify a War Games match for that, other than hey, we got numbers and one of the sides needs another guy. So I really don't know. I really don't know, dude. But anyways, with this whole opening segment, it leads into a match being made between Drew McIntyre and Jimmy Uso, but not just any match. It's going to be a no DQ match, and I mean the match itself was good. It was very physical, very brutal in some aspects. I mean, there were some good chair shots, good use of the circle button to throw that chair, Drew, especially when Jimmy tried to go for that splash and everything. Uh yeah, I mean the crowd were hot for it. I mean they were hot all night, if we're being honest. Like they got some good matches tonight. At least one pretty good one, which we'll talk about later on tonight. But I mean it all leads to the inevitable Drew McIntyre victory over Jimmy Uso, because hey, he's got to look strong going into Saturday's main event. And of course, he takes out Cody at the end of the night, standing tall and all that. So yeah, I mean, again, good match and all that. Afterwards, with Drew attacking Jimmy, I mean, summoning Cody and all that. I mean, just kind of makes sense to me, at least.
Yeah, I thought the match itself was pretty good too when it came to those guys going at each other. I'll probably have to say I think this is the best that Jimmy has looked in quite a bit when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
singles matches. Like, sure, he has his moments here and there, but I felt like he was really trying to push himself the extra mile to go up against Drew McIntyre, because it seemed like they were at an equal playing field for a little bit in this match itself. Like, one guy was attacking the other guy was attacking the other guy. They seemed like they did have some good
Mm-hmm.
moments there. Like that whole moment where we had Jimmy hit a whisper in the wind when he was able to get Drew down, and then a lot of those close calls, and he was able to do with a Samoan drop onto the table and everything. So I
Mm-hmm.
felt like the kind of match that they did, I am happy that did have a stipulation, because the way that Drew was talking shit. I mean, you gotta look at the room. You can't
Yeah.
just have all this guy talking a whole bunch of shit, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're not going to be saying anything, and we're just going to ignore what happened earlier in the show. We're just going to have like a regular singles match. Like, I'm glad he wanted an actual fight, because that demonstrates what you built on earlier in the show, and then you're evolving to what we see later on. So I thought both of the guys did very well. Obviously, Drew needed the momentum heading into his match with Cody. He was able to get the edge towards the end when he took him out. So yeah, I didn't really have any issues with the match. Obviously, I know what match you're referring to, which was the match of the night to me that we will eventually get into. But I thought this
Mm-hmm.
did what it needed to do for sure.
Yeah. And I think just to kind of piggyback on that thought of these two kind of being on an equal playing field, Drew's selling after the match. I mean, you have his like shoulder, arm, and back kind of bloodied a little bit. So, I think that was just from the table spot
Yeah,
that he took with that Samoan drop and all that. But like his selling after the match, like struggling to get up. I mean, Drew McIntyre's not the smallest of guys. He's a big dude, like he can take some damage and all that. I mean, this is a guy who beat Brock Lesnar at one point in his career.
Mhm.
And for him to like struggle to get up like he did from just facing Jimmy Uso in a no DQ match, I mean that's some big props to Jimmy himself. I mean, this is exactly what that phrase of like, okay, you can look good by losing, like at least in terms of wrestling and all that. Like this is what I mean whenever I say like a comment like that, because like yeah, I agree. Jimmy looked really good in this, and just from Drew selling after the match, like it kind of elevated Jimmy a little bit. Like, yeah, he didn't get the full experience, like the full EXP pool and all that, but like he got some. So like he was able to level up just maybe a little bit, maybe not close to the next level, but close enough to where it's just like, okay, you got some experience, buddy. You held on to that EXP share very tightly. Um, yeah, I mean, nothing else beyond that. I mean, I still can't get over the whole Slim Jim table, because I knew as soon as the Slim Jim table came out, somebody was gonna make some sort of snarky remark about Big Jim and Slim Jim and all that. And of course, Corey Graves did not hesitate at all. I'm like, all right, you know what? Fine, fair, marketing, cool, awesome. Break the table. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean that's basically that was our main event tonight. I mean, again, good, solid match, very much what it needed to be. The crowd was super into it. It did, granted, it pushed the story forward, just like maybe not in the direction we were hoping or expecting. But maybe we'll get some more next week and in the following week when we find out who exactly attacked Jacob Fatu. Then we can look back on everything and
Yeah.
be like, okay, this this was foreshadowed, or this
So
was hinted at, or something like that.
so this event is just gonna be strictly on Peacock. It's not gonna be on NBC.
Yes, I think this marks that change that they were making. So
Okay.
there really shouldn't be any commercial breaks during
Yeah, I was
matches.
gonna say.
Yeah. Like
Because I noticed
I
they've
mean
been
I
loading the card up a
mhm.
lot heavier than they typically do with these.
Yeah. Which yeah, we'll talk about the one match that got added to all this here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with kind of moving on to our next story, which takes on the mid card titles and all that. So we've got the US Open Challenge still being a thing. I am so happy that Ilya Dragunov is continuing this. I believe this is one thing that we talked about last week, Drop, about like Ilya Dragunov winning this title, because he is the perfect person after Sammy to continue on that open challenge thing. And man, it did not disappoint this week at all, as Aliester Black
Yeah.
took on Ilya Dragunov as his first contender for the US Open Challenge, which I mean is a solid match. I mean, you see that match on paper, and it's just like, all right, you're in for a treat. You're in for some heavy strikes, some like snappy offense from Ilya and all that. Like, and of course Zelina Vega being in the mix now. Like now we finally get to see the presentation of her with Alistair Black, and I'm all for it, man. Like this is exactly like, and I feel bad for saying this because of what happened afterwards and all that, but like this is kind of how Karrion Cross and Scarlett should have been booked, or at least like presented more on TV. Which, okay, well, we're just transferring Selena Vega and Alistair Black into that role. All right, fine, cool, neat, whatever. But yeah, I thought presentation wise worked out really well, and the match itself was really good. I mean, we didn't have a lot of interference from Zelina until like the closing segments where she tried to stop an H bomb from happening. And out comes Damian Priest with his best Zuko cosplay going on, as he's sporting a nice little burnt eye here. And it's enough of a distraction for Ilya to pick up the win. I know I said in our Discord I'd be really upset if Damian cost Alistair the match. And it's just like it's one of those things where it's just like it's kind of the same as what happened last week when Solo just kind of came out and then walked back to the back. Like that was his distraction. Damian Priest almost similar, except he actually walked to the ring. But at least he didn't get physically involved, which I was at least happy about that outcome and all that. But yeah, Ilya picks up the win. Damian Priest beats up Alistair Black after the match. And yeah, we're continuing that story. I don't know what stipulations they're going to do after a last man standing match, but yeah. So, Drop, what do you think of the match? And I didn't really touch on the pre-match promo, but if you wanted to chime in on all that, go right ahead. But yeah, what do you feel about everything?
So I really liked this match. Like again, like we alluded to a little bit ago, this was probably my match of the night because one of the things I was looking forward to the
Mm-hmm.
most was seeing how Ilya Dragunov was going to continue the US Open Challenge. And he did a very good job tonight. He had a great match with Aliester Black. Me and you were on the same page because I was talking to Vash and VC when we were watching SmackDown together. Because one of the thoughts that went in my head as soon as I saw Aliester Black answer the Open Challenge of the US title, I was saying to myself, I really hope Damian Priest doesn't take a part of this match as it's going on. Like, I don't want it going on and then all of a sudden, let's get to a really good part, and then he just shows up. Like he still did show up, and I'll eventually get my thoughts on there. But I'm glad
Yeah.
he showed up at a time where it didn't make me upset as much because at least these guys had had a good amount of time to tango. So I was
Mhm.
happy with that. I was happy that they were able to showcase what they're capable of, how great of wrestlers they are, because they're both very skilled. They both do a lot of crazy shit. I mean, I'm not going to really speak on Ilya Dragunov. We already know that story, but Aleister Black is another case where he does a lot of crazy stuff as well. So it's like
Mhm.
I was expecting him to give us a good show here, and they did exactly that. There was a lot of close calls here. There was a lot of, good counters, like when he was going for his torpedo that he typically loves to do. He was hit
Mhm.
with a knee strike. He was able to counter it that way. I thought that was very smart. I thought that was very creative. They just read each other very well, like a book, like they've been practicing for weeks on end, or they've been training together when Ilya was out. Like it just seemed like these guys just knew each other so well. They were able to approach each other no matter where they were in the ring, and that's something I could really appreciate because one of the things we want quality matches like this. We want the US title to actually feel special and everything. And I'm glad with
Mhm.
Zelina's involvement because like I said, it's better than what she was doing before. So as long as you get her
Yep.
out of what she was doing prior, that's a good thing. Her being with her husband is a plus because she's working with her husband. But also, it's nice to see her show a little bit more of like what she's capable of. So I'm really looking
Mhm.
forward to seeing how this evolves her character moving forward. So that's something I'm excited to see, but I thought both of these guys did good. The I can't say I don't want to over exaggerate and said I had that much of an issue with Damian Priest coming out because I had a feeling he was still going to come out anyway. Because I mean, you can't really ignore the whole fireball thing that happened during the last man standing match. Obviously, there's unfinished business there. But I will say the ending did feel a little sour. I only
Yeah.
say that because Ilya Dragunov, out of all people, he doesn't need a distraction to win a match. That's the thing. If he wanted to come out, like, let's say hypothetically, you had Ilya Dragunov winning the match, which I expected him to win the match regardless of uh what's his Damian Priest came out. And then let's say Alistair Black was getting pissed and everything, start beating on him and all that, trying to like, catch him off guard or try to work on that neck that they were selling during the match itself. Like, maybe trying to prompt him up. He's like all dizzy and stuff. And then he tries to hit him with the black mist. And then maybe you have him come out afterwards or whatever. And then they want to have a full on brawl or whatever the case may be. If they could think of something better than I said, I wouldn't mind that, but it just felt like we had such a great match, and I'm not saying the match was bad at all when I say this, but it just felt a little sour of how I ended. Like, it felt like anticlimactic,
Mhm.
where it's like, oh shit, Damian Priest turned my head, knocked out with the finisher, and then 1, 2, 3. Not saying it was a bad match, but it did feel like awkward.
Mhm.
I guess awkward would be the best way to put it.
Yeah, yeah, because like now we're entering that stage where it's just like, okay, you did it once last week with Sammy, where Solo came out. kind of distracted him in a way, but not anything to really take away from the match that they had. But now match number 2 with Ilya Dragunov with the US title, you have almost the same thing happening again. And it's like, okay, you're doing it twice now. If we do it a third time and something happens and Ilya Dragunov is able to pull up the win right there, then I'm going to start questioning things like, okay, you've reached my threshold of doing it 3 times. What are we doing now? Like, why are we doing it like this way? Why are we booking it like this and like building it in a way where it's just like, okay, well, Ilya can't win unless somebody's distracted or anything. Like,
Yeah.
he'll need that definitive win over somebody to really legitimize his title reign. So I'm hoping with the continuation of this open challenge thing that Ilya is able to pull that off. Because like I don't want to come back here next week and say, oh look, Carmelo Hayes challenged Ilya Dragunov to a match during the open challenge. And then he gets to near the end of it, and then the Miz comes out and costs him the match, which is probably what they're gonna end up doing. Anyways, after what happened, in a backstage segment later tonight, which we'll hint on here in a little bit. Um, God, I swear, if I just called that shit from next week or a week or 2 from now,
Yeah.
like, oh my god,
Yeah, see,
because
that's the thing.
yeah,
Because it's like, because I know he's supposed to have match with that other guy. He's obviously gonna win. I don't really see that guy winning. No
oh,
disrespect.
Kit Wilson, yeah, nah,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
no disrespect to
yeah,
Kit Wilson, but he's not winning that match against Carmelo Hayes. But
no,
obviously they'll use that as
no,
a plot device to advance his character, give him some momentum, and then obviously he'll get Dragunov. Those two have history, and holy shit, that would be great to see on the main roster because they had nothing but
yeah,
bangers. Like those 3 matches that they had, nothing but bangers. That's gonna be a great match. But again, exactly what you said. Miz has been missing. Where's Miz? You can't forget about Miz. You can't have him Carmelo winning a U.S. title
yeah,
without Miz at least getting involved once.
nah. Hell, Miz might get involved next week with that
Yeah,
match with Kit Wilson.
yeah,
You know? Oh my god. I just I just don't want that to happen.
yeah.
And because Ilya Dragunov, he like you said, he doesn't need somebody to come out to run distraction. Like, I mean, yeah, he'll capitalize on because who wouldn't in that instance? But yeah, it just when you do things too much, it gets a little again too much. Like we start getting tired of it. We start wanting more. We start expecting a little bit more because we know you could do more. We know you could do different. Just do it. It shouldn't be that hard. But I mean, again, match itself was really good. More curious about what stipulation they're going to use with Damian Priest and Alistair Black again after they did Last Man Standing. I mean, maybe a cage match. I kind of doubt that because there's not really much they could do in a cage beyond just hurting themselves and all that. So I really don't know where they go from here unless I mean, shot out of the dark, they decide to pull Hell in a Cell with this, which I mean, it hasn't really heated up to that level, but I mean, and something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Especially when it comes to the US Open Challenge and all that. It's just again, I'm just very happy that Ilya's gonna be taking that
Oh yeah.
and running with it. And plus the crowd are really into him. Like he got a really good pop tonight. He got a "You deserve a" chant during his speech and everything. Like, and oh, what a line to end off on with his promo. Like, pain is your entertainment tonight. That is a cold ass line. Paraphrasing that obviously. I should have wrote down what he actually said and all that, but like that was basically the gist of what he said. Just like, yeah, you guys are gonna have some fun with people hurting each other tonight. And yeah, I would say I still had fun, despite a few nitpicks here and there. It's just, it was a fun time had.
I agree for sure. This is hopefully the quality we get moving forward.
Yep. And speaking of quality and at least having like a quality match, let's go on now to the MFTs taking on Shinsuke Nakamura and Rey Fenix. So Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Fenix, they're just kind of coming together just to come together, I guess. But mainly because hey, the MFT's been kind of interfering in a few things that they've been in, mainly like these US title open challenges that have been going on. And yeah, so the MFTs are being represented by Tama Tonga and JC Mateo. So Tama Tonga, first of all, he looks a lot more jacked than he used to be, or at least
Yeah.
a little bigger. Okay, all right. So it's not just me then. It wasn't just me that noticed it. Oh man. But so these two teams having a match, obviously, because MFTs are getting into everybody's business and all that. And I feel like they all four guys, and especially like Nakamura and JC, they kind of maybe during their meeting for this match and all that, they probably all agreed, I think, to kind of go a little harder because there were some stiff shots in this, like especially between Shinsuke and JC Mateo. Like they were laying on some thick blows right there. Like what was some of Nakamura's kicks seemed to hit a little harder. So I think they kind of wanted to go back to a little bit of the Japanese strong style that they know and love when during their times in New Japan and all that. But I mean, the basic skeleton of the match is what it is when it comes to these random tag team matches we get on SmackDown. You get your back and forwards, you get your hot tags and all that. You get your distractions from the heel group and all that. Tonga takes on a choke slam onto Rey Fenix, onto the hardest part of the ring. And after Tonga lands what's called where was it? Where was it again? He calls it the cutthroat, which if you watch AEW and you know of Ricochet's spear gun move, it's basically that. It's just like this running like forearm elbow kind of move when somebody's on their knees. Yep, that ends the match 1, 2, 3. MFTs win. They're continuing their momentum as they chase down the Wyatts for the tag titles. Not much in terms of like storyline progression, just mainly more of them just gaining another win, which they kind of needed. And I mean, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Ever since they've come back with like this face paint stuff going on, MFTs have kind of been cooking a little bit. Like I'm actually kind of invested in them a little bit more than I was, and then it's not just the face paint too. Like you can kind of tell there's like a different attitude within the group rather than oh we're gonna try to beat a bloodline. Instead, now they're kind of being more of a unit, which I appreciate within a group like this. But yeah, so I mean that's basically my little lead into all this match and all this stuff going on. But drop, what do you think of the match? Any storyline progressions that you may have seen that I may have missed? Yeah, just what do you think of everything?
So I understood what this match was supposed to represent. Like you said, this was basically a match to really give them momentum because what are the MFTs like currently striving for right now? Those tag team titles. Obviously, they're in a feud with the Wyatt Six right now. So it's like it makes sense for them to have a match like this because they had beef with these guys last week. Obviously, they want to throw hands at each other this week to build on what happened prior. So when it comes to the match itself, it was they had some good spots here. They were able to showcase what they're capable of, but I'm glad people like Rey Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura are actually able to show, that they're still there. They're wrestlers. They work in the company and everything. This is going to be a interesting topic of conversation once we do grappling with the week next week and we talk about underutilized talent and overpushed talent. So be sure to stay tuned for that next week on Thursday. So I'm glad they were able to shine
Mhm.
here. I never would imagine in a million years that Shinsuke Nakamura and Rey Fenix would team up, but here we are. And I guess that
Yeah.
confirms to us because Shinsuke Nakamura is a baby face now. So which is
Yeah.
nice. It fits him a lot better. I don't know why they kept doing the heel thing. Never really made sense. I mean, whenever he comes out, you hear that theme song, you want to sing to it anyway. So I don't really understand like the mindset of that. But that's
Yeah.
just WWE at times. But again, you had the MFTs get the advantage. Solo Sokoa there. You got the Tonga Loas getting involved. And obviously, Tala Tonga is going to be too much to handle for them. They end up getting the win here. moving forward to eventually go after those tag team titles. And it's either one or two things here because I know they like. Well, I guess it's a little bit different because this is kind of like a little special thing with Saturday Night's
Mhm.
main event, but maybe they're treating it a little bit differently. Um, Maybe I don't know if they're gonna do this match like the night of Saturday Night's main event, like the Friday prior. Maybe have those guys go after the tag titles, or they're gonna wait maybe a little bit longer or so
Mhm.
because there really isn't any other PLEs like really come up until the end of that month once they hit Survivor Series, and I doubt they're gonna wait that long to do this match because I don't really think I mean, there is a lot of juice on the table to make, some nice fruit punch and lemonade
Mhm.
here, but I don't know if they're gonna go full throttle with that with these guys towards the end of the month. Trying to
Yeah.
figure out the placement of this match because I guess you got
Yeah, because like, mm,
you said we did see Tama Tonga in the back and he was taunting someone, right? Was he taunting?
oh yeah, he was taunting Fraxium
Oh, okay.
because so yeah, this was like just some random backstage bit where like they met up with like Ilya. Ilya's just like, oh, that open challenge is open to even tag teams and all that. So there was that. There was a little short interaction with like DIY, kind of continuing whatever story they're trying to build there. And yeah, Tama Tonga just kind of went up and was just like, yeah, 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 yeah. So I guess that's just him taunting the tag teams, just being like, hey, we're here and we plan on coming to the top. So
Yeah.
I mean, again, at least SmackDown's using their tag teams. Like I'll say it, at least they're doing that
Yeah.
compared to Raw tag teams and all that. So, you know, at least they're on TV doing something of note.
I agree for sure. I mean, at least they have a proper
Yeah.
mindset with that because it's like there's people that you could be doing things with on SmackDown. I mean, on Raw, but we're not really doing that
Hmm.
for whatever said reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand why. Like you got the talent, just utilize it. But again, stay tuned for Thursday's discussion because oh boy, well, that's gonna be fun on top of the Saturday night main event predictions and all that. Um, yeah, I kind of agree with you too. Like at least in WWE terms, like babyface Shinsuke makes more sense than heel Shinsuke because they
Yeah.
never can get a heel Shinsuke right in
No.
WWE.
It's like the first time they
And
did.
I don't know why.
Was the first time with the AJ Styles thing? Because that
Oh
whole
yeah,
storyline was just ball busting, and I can't
yeah,
really get behind that.
literally. Like I yeah, and then after that, not much of note. They at least tried. Like there was at least something there when it came to like I don't know if you yeah, you might remember this. Remember when he had like that little stint with Cody like at the end of 2023 going into 2024 where like he was it was around like the Christmas time. So it was just one of those feuds to kind of roll over it into the new year, just give something for Cody to do. And like he was reading, like he had changed, I think it was like the night before Christmas towards like Cody and like beating him up or something. I don't know. Like they at least tried with that heel character, which you know what, fine, fair, and all that. But then they did something new beyond that, whereas like this like lone samurai character kind of thing, and it was not clicking with the crowd, and it kind of wasn't clicking with the home crowd either, from what it seemed like. So yeah, turning him babyface, just keep him there because he's a lot happier there. He's a lot more enjoyable there. I mean, tonight him and Rey Fenix hit like a double good vibrations, which was a good little spot there. But yeah, just babyface Nakamura is where it's at.
Definitely, I agree. It's just the better placement
Yeah.
for him. Hopefully, they stick with that moving forward.
Yeah. And I mean, when it comes to like the MFTs and the Wyatts and all that, I mean, I don't know. I keep leaning towards the war games thing, but it's just like I don't really think I personally would want that or think that that's really the route they're going under. I've seen some theories going like, okay, well, they could hold this on the SmackDown before War Games and have it be like that traditional Survivor Series match where it's like, 4 on 4 or 5 on 5 elimination tag kind of bout, which I mean, I'd be fine with that. That's always a fun stipulation to have.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely
and
for
we
sure.
haven't had one of those in a while, and at least in WWE.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's been quite some time since we've even utilized the concept like that. So if you would want to bring it back, I mean, hey,
Hmm.
I got a
Yeah.
little
They.
distracted from one of your tweets earlier I saw here about
Oh.
these matchups. Well, we'll definitely
Oh my God.
we'll definitely talk about that a little bit later.
Some of them, no, dude. I saw some of the list. I'm just like, nah, you're just setting them up for failure, man.
Yeah, like
Like,
I'm looking at this one right now, Venom versus Kushida.
yeah, like, I'm sorry. As much as I love Pochita, like, here's the thing. Sorry, a side tangent, everybody.
Yeah.
If you're ever doing like power scaling, be careful of putting a manga character against a comic book character, like from the Marvel or DC.
Yeah.
Because they can get kind of broken over there in American comics. Like,
Yeah. Setting my
like
boy setting a lot of people up here, like Itchy versus Boruto. Why we setting Itchy up like that?
right, right. Oh my God, don't even get me started on Boruto. That,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
no. That,
Don't worry, we'll have more conversations like this on another project when it comes to Shonen
yeah,
Ronin, because I'm pretty sure when we discuss our weekly manga, we'll have a little discussion about these kind of things that we see online.
yeah. Like, no, don't get me started on Boruto. I don't. No, no, fuck that show. Fuck, I hate that series. Moving on, moving on. See what the MFTs do to me. They
Yeah.
make me think of Boruto, and I don't want to think about Boruto.
No.
Oh my gosh, the MFTs, the Boruto of the WWE. Nah, I won't give them that. That's a discredit to the MFTs. They at least give emotion out of me. Speaking of emotion, though, hey, let's talk about Tiffany Stratton. So she had a match tonight against Kiana James. I guess this is a match to be like, hey, Tiffany, let's boost that ego a little bit. Let's get you back on the right mindset
Two
since
high school
you'll.
girls.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, okay, chat. Listen up. So when this match started, it's going on. A good match, by the way. Like I'll say that. Like Kiana James actually looked pretty good in this match. I'll give her that. But as the match is going on, I'm just sitting there, like just chilling on my recliner, feet propped up, notes getting ready to be written down, watching this match go down. And I'm sitting here thinking, huh, these are basically like two preppy girls from your high school that are just getting into a fight, just like on the playground or by the schoolyard or whatever. And they're trying to be so edgy about it. Like they're trying to fit in like with the cool crowd or whatever. I don't know, man. Like it was a weird mindset that my mind went to. I'm just like, wow, this is a interesting, very interesting concept. Because again, like you just have two preppy girls just going at it after each other. It's just like, all right, well, I guess this is happening. They're actually kind of fighting. All right, cool, neat, awesome. But eh, match was again, it was good. I thought it was good at least. But I think the main talking point beyond this match is really what happened after the match. Because after the match, Julia does attack Tiffany Stratton. So, the heels are going to be standing tall yet again. But out comes Jade Cargill. And hey, she's out for the save, right? She respects Tiffany Stratton as a competitor. She's gonna help her fellow babyface out against these heels and all that.
Hmm.
Well, you know what? Let's just start with what happened. So Jade Cargill basically turns heel, attacks Tiffany Stratton very like viciously, mind you, like really good heel turn here. And I mean, even her reasoning afterwards is just like, hey, I'm gonna take what's mine because I'm gonna basically I'm gonna prove that power is everything around here, which, you're not wrong. We've had multiple storylines of being on top of the card, equaling power and all that. But I this is definitely something that Jade Cargill needed. Like, her character desperately needed that edge again. And I mean, if you know some of her work from AEW, she's kind of a better heel than she's a babyface. Like, she's kind of that corny babyface that people will make fun of and all that. But like, this vicious nature of Jade Cargill, like, this is where she thrives. Like, just that whole mentality of, I am better than you. I am stronger than you. I will destroy you, and I'm going to prove every single time I step into that ring that is the case. But yeah, I want to start with your thoughts on all this, because like I had like a whole like breakdown of my thoughts, but I want to hear from you first, Drop. Like, what did you think of? I mean, I guess the match itself, and I guess the heel turn that we got from Jade Cargill here tonight on SmackDown.
So I thought this was the right move here when it comes to the next step for Jade Cargill's character, because she sucks as a babyface. I'm sorry. She sucks as a babyface. She doesn't work as a babyface at all whatsoever. And this isn't me throwing shots at her as a person. It's just the creative behind it wasn't really working for her. And when I look at Jade
Mhm.
Cargill, I look at somebody who's a tough son of a bitch who doesn't take any people's shit. And if somebody gets in their face, she's gonna rock them and she's gonna knock the head right off of her shoulders. That's the kind of presentation she needs to really show how fierce she is. Like, she's very strong. She has the whole fit and everything. And I should have known it ahead of time when I saw her outfit. Because when I saw her outfit at
Mhm.
first, I'm like, you know what? She looks pretty cool and everything. And then I didn't
Yeah.
realize, after what happened, like, oh, okay, I guess that was like a little sign where, yeah, she's a heel now. She's looking like a tough badass and everything, which she did, because that was the best way to really utilize her. And I feel like maybe this will help her a little bit more when it comes to really, showing that aggression, because you look at her, she's strong, she's very destructive. You only can display those kind of characteristics as a heel when it comes to the kind of
Mhm.
character that she's trying to be. And I thought what she did here was nice, because I'll be honest, I thought that she was just there to help Tiffany and then we're gonna move on to the next segment until she walked away. Because I've seen it before, it just didn't hit me until it happened. She comes back, attacks her and everything, and pretty much just tells everybody like, yeah, I'm not fucking around, I'm coming back for what's mine. And
Yeah.
that's just how it is. That's honestly the best thing that you need to do. Like, here's the thing. When it comes to Shinsuke Nakamura, a guy everybody loves, a guy that's dancing when he comes out and everybody's behind him when it comes to his theme song and stuff like that, that's somebody you don't make a heel, because he's just pure babyface at that point. Ever since I looked at Jade Cargill from the very beginning, even when she was in AEW, and she was the heel over there too,
Mhm.
she worked a lot better with that kind of attitude, being a bitch, telling people how it is and everything like that. That's just the kind of person that she presents herself to be, not as an individual person outside of the company, but the character herself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm glad that they went down this direction, because you need to show those characteristics, because I want her to have a successful future. I want her to get ahead of the game. The babyface thing wasn't working for me. And when I mentioned how the whole babyface thing sucked, I wasn't necessarily saying on her end when it comes to what she was doing.
No.
It's just the creative behind it wasn't really convincing with the position that she's in. This right here is convincing. This is something I can
Yeah.
get behind, so I'm really glad about that. And then when it
Yeah.
comes, yeah.
Mm. Oh no, go ahead.
And all I was gonna say was, I feel like that probably was the highlight for me for this segment itself, because the only other thing I can really say about this fight between Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James, I was actually impressed with Kiana James. I'll be honest here.
Yeah.
It actually caught me off guard. She was actually performing very well here. I remember when we talked about this last time, I was heading into this at first. I didn't know if I was gonna get fully behind it. I take back
Mhm.
what I said. I did enjoy what the match was and how it was supposed to bring Kiana out of her shell instead of just being around Julie all the time. So at least she was able to showcase what she's capable of. And this is the best that she's looked so far since she's been on the main roster and since she's returned. So I'm glad that she's able to display those kind of characteristics. But I do get the meme that you're going for when it comes to two high school girls, because you got Tiffany Stratton as the princess and everything, kind of like the Sharpay of WWE. And then of course you got like
Yeah.
Kiana James coming out here, the girl with all her friends walking behind her during the hallways and everything, and just
Mm-hmm.
putting her hand in front of people's faces if she doesn't want to talk to him or anything. So I definitely get the whole meme.
Yeah, it's just I don't know why my mind went that way. I'm just like, huh. Okay, so that's where we're at tonight. All right, cool. Thanks, mine and all that. And yeah, it's especially when it comes to Jade. Like, so the whole time with like Jade's turn, because I need to just kind of break down my mindset of when events were happening. So like she runs out, and immediately I think, okay, she's gonna attack Tiffany. Watch. Like immediately, I'm just like, because that's the thing. It's just like, okay, they've kind of been feuding a little bit, but it wouldn't necessarily mean that she would have to save Tiffany.
Yeah.
Like, maybe this is just some sort of olive branch to be like, oh, give me another title shot and all that. So like that thought in my mind was just like, okay, well, maybe she might be helping, but she might end up attacking and all that. Then, she started attacking like Julia and Kiana. And at first I started thinking, okay, wait, hold on. And this is mainly because of how she was dressed. Because for some reason I was just like, what if she like aligned herself with Kiana and Julia? And I'm like, I don't know about that. Let me table that like theory and like come back to that after tonight when we talk about things. And then of course she's holding up Tiffany's arm and all that. I'm just like, okay, yep, they are setting up the attack here in 3, 2, 1. Oh, let's raise our hand again. Okay, let's 3, 2, 1. Okay, you're look like you're walking. Oh, there it is. There's the attack. Okay, cool. So it's just like, and that's mainly just because me and Drop have been watching wrestling for a good portion of our lives, so we've seen turns happen before in just as shocking a manner and all that. So it's just like, yeah, good job, good execution with it. And again, it's something that Jade really needed. Don't think she's gonna really align herself from Kiana, so I'm just gonna table that little theory for a bit. But mainly because I think she works a little bit better by herself. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm just excited for this. My end goal for this too, this kind of popped in my head too. This is gonna lead. This is all building for that eventual Jade versus Bianca match,
Oh yeah.
because
Well, there you go.
Bianca's not going to come back as a heel.
Yeah. Well, now you flipped one of them, and there you go.
Hmm.
And we'll definitely like dive a little bit more into that, because I was gonna ask you a question, but I'll probably save that for predictions next week because
Yeah.
it fits a lot more there.
Ooh. Yeah, because I mean, we did get it confirmed that at Saturday night's main event, Tiffany Stratton is going to defend her title against Jade Cargill. And yeah, I'm gonna have to sit with everything going on right now because my initial gut reaction is just like, okay, Jade should go over here and
That's
take the title off Tiffany.
yeah.
Like that's just what the gut's telling me right now.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was gonna
yeah.
bring up too, because like I have that feeling you want to execute, because they've done this before where they did a heel turn. It made
Hmm.
sense for the win. They didn't do it.
Yep.
I feel like they could do it here, because there could be something here, because since Jade is a heel now, she could be more aggressive and she could do a lot more things in the ring now that she wasn't able to do before. Because baby
Hmm.
faces tend to play it safe. They tend to go by the babyface mindset, unless you're Cody that's trying to get ahead of King of the Ring, and he got a little aggressive there, which
Yeah.
made sense because that was a big moment there. So both him and Randy needed to go over the edge to really get to where they needed to be. But at least now, I'm hoping we could see her, show us a couple of other tricks under the sleeve and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah. And again, like I feel like this is all gonna be building towards that Bianca Jade match. Cause yeah, like one of them finally flipped. The right person, I think, flipped too. And especially like when we start getting to that program, I know they haven't been doing much with like Cody and Drew in terms of their history and all that, but they could really do something special with Jade and Bianca. Because like with Jade, she hasn't really said too much about Bianca through that whole like Naomi turn either. Like
Mm-mm.
she's basically been silent through most of that. I mean, most of it has been towards Naomi, but when it comes to Bianca, she just kind of ignores her. Like just kind of brushes her off and all that. Even when she was still a face and Bianca came back and all that, like she was still kind of brushing her off and leaving her to her own devices and all that. So it's like, okay, we can work with that dynamic now and like double down on it more now that Jade's a heel, and especially if she wins that title. Because I could honestly see her and Bianca having a series of matches where it's like Jade is dominant throughout until just that one moment when Bianca finds that one thing to actually put Jade away. Like that's your WrestleMania moment right there. I mean, like you could still build it as their first time ever at that event, but like I don't know, there's a good story to be told of like Bianca not being able to beat Jade until like the big show.
I agree.
Yeah,
A lot of things they can do
but
with this. Just hopefully execute done well. They made a smart move here tonight. I
yep.
do applaud them for that. I'm just hoping they take the right steps again. Could be creating a monster heel that's definitely needed, especially when it comes to the women's. They got a little wrinkle in the
Mm-hmm.
women's division. That's nice.
Yeah.
We got two turns
Yeah.
tonight.
And yeah. Oh yeah, we did, didn't we? Huh. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just excited for the future. Like this actually got me invested in more of Tiffany's story too going forward. Because like that's the thing. Like this match was probably just given her to her to be like, hey, you know, you need an easier match to kind of bounce back from losing and all that. It's fine. We'll give you Kiana James. And again, Kiana surprised Tiffany. So there's something to kind of be said there. Like kind of similar to what we were talking about earlier when it came to like Drew and Jimmy, where it's just like, okay, Drew and Jimmy were kind of more on the even plane. Granted, it's more like maybe 55 against like a 55% against a 45%. That's fine, that's whatever, but it's still close enough to like Drew was feeling it at the end of the match. So kind of the same story here with Tiffy and Kiana, where Kiana did kind of take it to Tiffany a little bit. And I'm sure Tiffany's confidence was kind of shaky after that match.
Definitely was. Definitely actually
Mhm.
actually did a little bit of damage to the champion. Like I said,
Yeah.
out of all people, I mean, caught me off guard.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, and it's nothing against like fully against Kiana James's ability, because that's the thing. She's a decent wrestler before all this. It's just like we didn't really get to see too much of her, and even her stuff in NXT, from what I remember, it wasn't too impressive. Hell, she got the call up to the main roster, and a lot of people were just like, "Really, Kiana James up on the
Hmm.
main roster?" Okay, fine, we'll run with it. That okay, we'll see what happens. But and that's pretty much how everybody took that news. And then she got injured, but now that she's back, hey, maybe she's actually taking some notes from Julia. Maybe Julia's like being her coach. Like maybe this partnership's more of Kiana being built up than Julia needing a mouthpiece or something, or representation or whatever.
Hmm.
Which I mean, fine. I mean, they say it a lot on commentary, especially in WWE anymore. Iron sharpens iron. So yeah, she's just learning from a really good wrestler, and it it's showing. It's showing much like what happened when Raquel took that advice from Kevin Nash, and then all of a sudden she's just like a great big girl. You know what I mean? Ah, man. But yeah, I mean that's all I pretty much have to say about this women's title picture. Again, glad that Jade is now a heel. We'll see where this goes from here on out. But we've reached now our quickfire segment. So we kind of touched a little bit on this mellow face turn here. He kind of a pretty good babyface promo in the back, basically putting over the Miz a little bit as like a future Hall of Famer. But of course, he's trying to look past all that, trying to look towards the future and becoming him yet again. He gets interrupted by Kit Wilson, who's on this like toxic masculinity, or like maybe a keyboard warrior if if you so incline to certain phrases and names and all that. He basically confronts Mello. They're going to have a match next week. I'm assuming Miz is going to get involved to continue that story and all that. And of course, we have this segment with like Nia Jax going up to Charlotte and Alexa being like, hey, basically reminding everybody, hey, Alexa can be a backstabbing bitch sometimes. So, fine, I guess, if Nia is going to be the one to kind of put a wedge between these two. Again, she kind of knows both of them. I mean, not only did she have that program with Alexa with like the whole bullying thing, but her one match with Charlotte, if people remember, where people afterwards were like, "Oh, were they kind of shooting on each other with like some some like face palms across each other's face?" I really don't know, but a couple quick fire segments tonight. So, anything that really like stuck out to you between these two segments that we had?
So when it comes to the mellow thing, I'm really happy about that because, like I said before, we got two turns tonight. Kind of like you turned one face and you turn the other one heel. So you got
Mm-hmm.
babyface mellow here, cutting a promo, thanking the fans and everything, talking about moving on from Miz, eventually, getting to the point where he goes after the U.S. title again, which is definitely the end game here. But then you have the whole thing with Kit Wilson and everything. We're obviously going to see how that match takes place next week. Spoiler alert. Um, Melo's more than likely going to win that match. You get a little momentum, and then wherever
Mm-hmm.
things go on between him and Miz, we'll eventually see where that goes. Because I know they're eventually going to have a match with each other before Melo eventually, moves forward with what he wants to do. And then the whole thing about like Nia, which dude, like as soon as I saw her, I started to be like, okay, well now the main title's like filled up. Let's go after the like I didn't know what was she trying to like get another partner, go after these women tag titles and stuff like that. But we see,
Yeah.
her talking to Charlotte and Alexa, talking about the history between the both of them, and obviously we already know the whole history between her and Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. And at least when it came from Alexa's perspective, I mean, back then all those years ago, it made sense why she did what she did because of Nia.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got to remember what you did to her all those years ago to really push her to be in that position that she's in. Because I know for a fact you weren't a baby face when you were with her around that time. You didn't really
Yeah.
show any care towards her around that time. So when she took that opportunity to snap at you because of what you did to her, I mean, it made all of the sense in the world, just like how it did when Tiffany Stratton eventually backstabbed Nia Jax because of what she did to her. But it was pretty cool seeing that little history get brought up because it's something that I remember all those years ago. But
Mm-hmm.
you said, and then we eventually are gonna get this match between Charlotte and Alexa against Bailey and Lyra, which they haven't outright confirmed, but they are alluding to it, which I assume that was probably the surprise that was mentioned on Monday between Bailey
Yeah.
and Lyra, because I remember one of them mentioned, "Oh, I got a surprise and everything." They never said it on that show, but I assume this is what it is. I feel like I don't know what else it would be.
Yeah, I really don't know what else it could be, because yeah, because it was Bailey that told Lyra that she's like, "Yeah, I got a surprise for you" and all that. It's like, okay, what crazy thing did Bailey concoct? And they didn't say it was going to be an actual match. They just said that, hey, they would be there on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's probably just going to be a segment to set up for something later on,
Yeah.
whether that gets thrown at Saturday night's main event or gets saved for Survivor Series. Chances are it's going to be the former. It's probably going to be thrown onto Saturday night's main event. If not, next week's Raw. Like, well, not next week's Raw, but the Raw after that. Setting up to God knows what after that, because Alexa and Nia are going to have a match this Friday coming up. So I don't know how that's going to end up. Like, especially if they end up having to defend their titles the night after. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with that. Also,
Mhm.
babyface Mello, like, he cut a really good promo. It's just he's one of those Jade Cargill situations where it's just like I prefer him as a heel. Um, because I think his gimmick kind of works better in that realm of heeldom, but he'll get back down there. He'll be one of those ones that'll be like the cool heels to kind of follow and all that. So it's just like, okay, yeah, you're kind of a dick, but I I like following your career. I like watching your matches and all that. Kind of like what Seth Rollins became in a way, where it's like, yeah, he could be booked as a heel, but everybody's gonna be singing his song and cheering him on and all that. Like, you can't really escape something like that.
Mm-mm.
Um, yeah, we'll have to see how all these stories go and coincide and all that. But with that being said, everybody, we've reached not only the quickfire segments and all that had to do with backstage segments and all that, but we've reached our final thoughts. We've reached our outro. We're gonna let you guys know exactly what we thought of SmackDown as a whole. And again, like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, I thought it was a good SmackDown. It didn't feel like it dragged in any places. I was entertained throughout. There wasn't really too many low spots in the show either. Like,
No.
we had our opening segment and it bled right into the match, which again kind of makes me think that the MFT were involved in Jacob Fatu's attack. I think they might have been the ones, because like why else would they? I mean, yeah, they had a match scheduled for after the main event, not the main event segment, after the opening segment. But I mean, the timing was just a little too coincidental for me. They might have been involved with Jacob's attack and all that. But yeah, I thought, storyline progressions could have been a little better, yes, but like I think it was kind of evened out with some of the match quality with Guy, because like each match tonight not only delivered, but each match was given enough time to be like, okay, you know what? Fair. You guys are getting some good TV time. You're, running your reps and all that, and you're entertaining the live crowd, which again, live crowd were really hot tonight. They were a really good crowd. A different setup too we had on SmackDown. I know we didn't mention that either, but like we had that like single row going down and like the easy Titantrons. Excuse me. Yeah, it wasn't like a huge setup or anything, but it was very effective. And I like when like SmackDown and Raw kind of change like that, like especially like their walkways or their entrances and everything. Like it just makes the show feel a little different. But yeah, I thought again the show was good overall. Yeah, what'd you think of the show overall? Any final thoughts with it?
So I thought this show itself was pretty good. It gave me things I needed when it comes to the Jade Cargill heel turn. That's a plus in my book. I love that, Mello is finally heading down the right direction. So I'm glad we're finally getting some progression of his character. The US title sheen is shaping up pretty nice with Ilya Dragunov as champion. I mean, it really started picking up when Sammy got it, but with Sammy passing the baton to Ilya Dragunov, that's only going to ignite that flame even further. So I am super excited for that. And yeah, it was just a good show. It definitely made decisions on the show that made sense, and it gave us some good quality matches.
Yep. And that's really all we can ask for from our wrestling. Just give us some good storyline progression, give us some good matches, just make it feel balanced and make it feel fun and make me feel like I'm not regretting my life choices by watching 2 hours of wrestling on a Friday night and all that. But you know what? I don't regret my choices. You shouldn't regret your choices either, because not only did you watch all of SmackDown, you've reached the end of our podcast for the SmackDown coverage. So yeah, I mean, I guess quick plugs really quick, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a bunch of social medias that we like to talk to you guys on or talk to each other on and all that. We've got the what is it? The Instagrams, we've got the Twitters, we've got the TikToks and all that. You see all the handles on your screen right there. You got Animal We Studio, the parent company. You got Legendy Vash, who is out there with The Rock, and I think The Rock's new movie involves Bill Goldberg, so at least Vash gets to witness his
Mm.
childhood hero on the movie set. Hopefully have fun with that, buddy. Um, yeah, so if you want to check out his endeavors, go on check out Legendary Vest. Go on check out Drop This Box as he drops every single bit of knowledge that he has on you guys throughout the weeks when it involves either horror, anime, manga, whatever comes to his mind. He's going to let you know his thoughts and just how everything goes. You can follow me on some social medias as I tweet or post about life in general and whatever crosses my own
And
mind.
those, yeah, be sure to check out Watkins' reaction to those versus battles for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. Some of those, yeah. There was a thread today that I was just bored at work and was just like, okay, let me see how some of these verses. Oh my god, why are we putting Zoro against Ichigo?
I saw one with Bakugo versus Edward Elric.
Dude, I saw that and I'm just like, why would you take a gun to a nuke fight?
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
especially end of series,
Oh
but
my
and they specifically said end of series Bakugo.
Yeah, like you see what he's about to do, the all for one. Oh boy. Oh my god. Yeah, nah. I'm sorry, Ed. You can put up as many mud walls as you want. Bakugo's getting through that shit with a howitzer. Nah, nah, nah. That was just despicable. Why would they do that? Oh my gosh. And then putting Yuji against Shinra from
Yeah,
Fire Force.
yeah, I saw that.
Like I won't say much because it'll spoil Fire Force, but no, just no. That I'm sorry, Yuji. No, you're gone. You're donezo. But yeah, you can follow us on the social media so catch all those fun little tweets or posts that we have. Because hey, we love talking to you guys, and the best way to talk to us, besides following Weaves the Ring on those social medias, is using the hashtag Weaves of the Ring. That's a great way for you to interact with us before, during, or after these shows. Because say we love talking to you guys, and it's also a great way to give us feedback because we're nothing without you guys tuning into the show, and we love to continue to up our game and make
Mm.
ourselves even better than we were the last podcast. But of course, as always, I'm going to take time to thank you guys for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Again, if you enjoyed what we had to say, follow us on the social media accounts. All those links are in the description below and on your page, your phone, your tablet, however you're watching this or listening to this, it's on your page. Go follow us and do all that wonderful stuff. Use the hashtag, give us feedback, do all that wonderful stuff, and we would love to hear from you all. Weaves of the Ring is presented by Anime We Studio. Thanks, of course, to our production team for all of their hard work for making this show a reality. Thank you once again for joining us. And remember, as always, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you on Monday night for Monday Night Raw.
Have a good night, guys. Be sure to see the Chainsaw Man movie this weekend.
Yes.